Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to another month, another edition of the Sparkling Tuna Cup 2025 October Finals. I'm of course VIP with you and joined by these amazing players, by the people in chat, and by my plushies as well. Welcome one and all to something a little bit different here. We have our regular weekly open tournaments with the Sparkling Tuna Cup, but for the last couple of months and for the rest of the year, we have these Open Cup weeklies leading into the monthly finals. We already had a monthly finals for September. Hero, of course, was the champion of the September finals. Now we are coming into the October finals. October finals here for the Tuna Cup. Here we go. Exclamation mark B in the chat if you guys want to have a look at the bracket yourselves. The bracket is live, the bracket is stacked, and we are jumping into our first series of the broadcast. Bam, as you can see here, last edition, we at least had Shin to vary things up a little bit, but here we go to Wall of Protoss, we go to Wall of Terran. Let's go, baby, let's go. It is going to be Beyond versus Percival in a TvT. We have Creator versus Bunny, Krystianer versus Nicoract, and Hero versus Geralt. Let us go. We got 4 Protoss, we got 4 Terran. Balance, as all things should be. Aha, let's go. Let us go. So we have our 8 players here. These are our top 8 players from this month's round of Open Cups. So we have our top 8 players, and we are looking to get into our first series. Now, the way this works, of course, is that we are going to be running 2 series at the same time concurrently. It's going to be Beyond versus Percival, followed by and Krystianer versus Nicoract happening initially. Then we have Creator and Bunny, and Hero and Geralt facing off after that as well. So we do have our initial 2 matches happening first, followed by the next 2 matches for the quarterfinals. Then we'll have the semis, and then the grand finals thereafter. Here we go. So total should be 5 series on the stream. Should be 5 series on the stream, depending on how long or how short things are going to be. And our players are just getting ready, conducting their videos as we speak. Again, we are going to be casting Krystianer versus Nicoract first. That's going to be our first series on the broadcast. Beyond versus Percival will be happening at the same time. Did have the chance to choose between the 2 of them, but again, we're going for the more diverse matchup here. Best of luck to Beyond and Percival. It's going to be a spicy series, I'm sure. Best of luck, as that will be happening at the same time. Oh boy. Here we go. Just catching up in the chat. Catching up. But yes, we do have our initial series, and great to see as well. We do have some nice representation as well, not just a full Korean lineup. Of course, we do have Krystianer, Nicoract, and Geralt showing up as well, repping that European region. A little bit unfortunate that they're all in the same part of the bracket. True, it would be nice if they were spread out somewhat, but they're going to be facing off as well in said first round. Hero, he is last month's champion for Sparkling Tuna Cup, and we'll see if he can reprise his role back to back as another champion here. He is going to be the one to beat, but there are some heavy hitters here to stop him. Likewise, we got players like Björn, Creator, but I mean all the top players here, they are all well within their skill range to take maps and to maybe even take series as well. Let's go. Let's go. That is what we are here for. Meanwhile, last month we did have some other coverage. We had indie casting in Polish, we had a TKL casting in French, but I believe they will not be casting this month. If I'm not mistaken, I believe they will be focusing on the Wardy TV event. In a couple of hours, Wardy's going to be hosting his own October tournament, his own October finals. True. And I believe he has a group stage that's taking place then and there, and again, that's in 2 hours time, so they might be focusing on that event instead. Yo, meanwhile, a big shout out to Eggs. El huevito, anda mimir, papi. Ay. ¿Qué estás haciendo despierto, papi? Oh my god. But thank you so much to Eggs for the raid. I hope you had a great stream. I hope you had a great ladder session. I hope you had a great time. Bienvenidos. I saw that you were laddering on Europe. I think Oreo is also laddering on Europe as well. Crazy. All the EU laddering. Ay. Crazy, baby, crazy. But hope you had a great time. Hope you got some nice wins, and hope you had a great stream. And welcome one and all to the beginning of our broadcast. Welcome to the Sparkling Tuna Cup October Finals. Here we go. Este baby. Yes, the new emotes for Babylings. Ay. Not the peach. Leave it alone. Oh no. Chat to Noam Chomsky. I see Slow Around in the chat as well. Playstone, Easy Fill, Sirius Black. Bienvenidos, papi. Bienvenidos. As we should soon be commencing. Here we go. Yeah, should soon be commencing, as we will soon be jumping into our first match. 7 groups today. I'm not fully aware of what you're referring to. If you mean if we're going to be casting this entire bracket today, the answer is yes. Yes, the entire bracket will be casted today. True. There we go. Greatest thing for Polish-Korean relations since I am Katowice. Ah. Are you saying that's what our regular tournaments are? That's not the most representative. I mean, StarCraft in general. True, true. A lot of Polish and Korean representation. Oh, no. But hopefully we're able to start soon. I know that unfortunately Krystianer is running a little bit late here. I mean, I say a little bit late. They did their vetoes, but something did come up, so did need a moment before we began. And hopefully not too much longer. But yeah, all the matches are going to be happening today. We won't be casting all the series, bear that in mind. We are going to be casting 5 of the matches tonight. We are not going to be casting Beyond versus Percival and Hero versus Geralt. That'll be, I mean, that might be casted by another stream. If Indy jumps on, if TKL jumps on, then they'll be covering that. But otherwise, we'll be covering all the other matches. Just as a heads up. But we actually might need some time. We might. No. Our players, and they might need an extra couple of moments here before we jump in. Oh. But we're also going to be featuring a custom map pool as well. For those that aren't here on a regular basis, you may not be familiar, but we have been, for the most part, running full TLMC 21 map pools throughout the past, 4 or 5 weeks. But now that the voting is concluded, now that the voting is done for TLMC, we are going to be pulling it back a little bit. So we have a custom map pool, we have majority ladder maps, so we have 4 added TLMC maps instead. We've gotten rid of Ultralove, we've gotten rid of Leylines, Last Fantasy, and Maganatha. So those 4 maps have been removed and they've been replaced by 10,000 Feet, Celestial Enclave, Magnetic North, and Mothership. So we replaced 4 maps with another 4 from TLMC. There we go. I know. Nicoract, he's getting rowdy. He's getting rowdy. He's like, where is Krystianer? Aye. Oh no. Yeah, Krystianer, he did just need a moment. Beautiful, he's ready. He's ready, he's good to go. So Krystianer, he has arrived. We are jumping into our first series. Krystianer and Nicoract facing off in a TVP. Game 1 is going to be on Pylon. Let's go. Jumping to game 1. And spawning in the top left-hand corner of Pylon, we have the red Terran player. We have the red Terran representing the Platinum Heroes. It is Nicoract. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have the blue Protoss player. We have the Polish Protoss representing Offside Esports. It is Krystianer. And if you're in the chat, you know what time it is. It is Gamba time. Predictions are open. Place your bets on who you think will claim the series. Best of luck in the chat as we get into our TVP. Here we go. Coming into this, Krystianer, he is one of the highest placing, historical players in Tuna Cup. True, so we do expect great things from Krystianer. At the same time, Nicoract has some killer TVP. Very aggressive, very in the face of his opponents, and very often is one to end the game early and end the game quickly, and has been having a lot of success in TVP over the past couple of weeks, if not the past couple of months. So Nicoract, he is definitely a player that can be deadly to any Protoss player out there. We've seen him take maps and series off of Max Packs. We've seen him do the same against Hero as well. Not on a regular basis, but, has been able to spike up in skill in that kind of way. Has been able to punch up in such a way, I should say. So here we go. For the time being, Economic Opener, Rax Expand out of Nicoract. Meanwhile, Krystianer going for his own Gate, Cyber into Nexus. Everything looking normal, Economic Opener out of Nicoract. Does go for the Economic Start. Krystianer's being as annoying as possible. And he will delay the CC. Okay, that was a 450 mineral CC timing. So nice delay by a couple of seconds. Krystianer does pull away. Just trying to be as annoying as possible. And even does open up with a Zealot. Okay, Krystianer. He's moving out. There's no proxy pylon. There's no gateway. There's no fast way to reinforce. But Krystianer, his goal here should still be to delay the command center. This is something that's a little bit more viable here on this map just because the Russian background is short. Welcome to Pylon, right? Pylon is the smallest map of the map pool, known for aggression. Speaking of aggression, that is a second rack speed for Factory. Hello. Now, are we going, I mean, this does look like a 3 racks. Does look like a 3 racks. Yep, there we go. 3rd racks is on the way. We're going for a 3 rack stim timing, a very aggressive, very powerful build. There's some pros, there's some cons to this, of course. But Krystianer, he's building up towards a very strong stim timing. As the Zealot will delay. We'll force back one of the SCVs. Oh, gets a swipe off. Get delaying the CC by a couple of seconds. Trying to buy time for the Adept. The Adept has arrived. CC is going to be denied for the time being. So nice delay in the command center. This is slowing down Nicoract. And especially when you're going for an aggressive timing like this, you need your build to be clean. You need it to be on point. As another Adept arrives, massive delay, and remember, this is almost a hard counter. There's no Hellion, typically there'd be a Cyclone, right? Typically there'd be a Cyclone follow-up, but there's no Factory. With Vanilla Marines, you cannot deal with this. I mean, this is just brutal. I mean, Krystianer, he rolls the dice, he rolls well. We have 3 Marines walking in, but in a head-on fight, it's still going to be brutal. Yeah, there we go. SCV goes down. So do 2 of the Marines. I'm gonna get a very nice trade here for Krystianer. He gets cleaned up, but that is a heavy delay on the CC, and again, this will slow down the overall build. If you saw earlier, there was a supply block as well. Why was there a supply block? Because the CC should have been done by now to give supply. So really shaky start. Behind this Krystianer, he did not scout the main base, but he noticed, hold on, there's no Hellion, there's no Cyclone, there's no nothing. Something is wrong. This is either a 2-on-1 or a 3 racks. So Krystianer, he has an idea of what's happening. You guys have an idea? Behind this, turning this into a hyper aggression, 4-gate blink. Oof, this is brutal. Now the biggest weakness here of going for a 3 racks and going for this really strong stim timing is because you have no Factory. 1, I mean, you have no Hellion or Cyclone for early game defense. 2, you have no tank production for early to mid game defense either. So you are very vulnerable to Stalker aggression, and we're doubling down into 4-gate blink. Like, this should be a hard counter. The goal here should be to break through the Marines, break through the bunker, get into the mineral line, and we can just snowball out of control. Now stim is going to be done soon. It's going to be done in a couple of seconds here, but before stim is complete, it's going to be vulnerable. Thankfully though, 10 seconds away. That's Krystianer, he'll lose 2 probes. Shuts down the Reaper. Krystianer, if he blinks into the main base, the Marauders can punish. So thankfully there's a high Marauder count. But as Krystianer starts to move out, as Nicoract's moving out, Krystianer, he moves in. Oh, goes to the blink. Yeah, blinks into the main base, going for the upgrade. Newcastle Shell's going to be denied, and Nicoract is going for the base trade. He's going for the base trade, does catch 1 reinforcing Stalker. Boys are being pulled. Recall back home. Okay. Does recall, does miss the War Prism. Prism doesn't get recalled. Does race back. Oh, that was a awkward blink. Yeah, it was awkward here. 1, 2 Stalkers going, 3 Stalker kills. Yeah, ideally you want to hold on to your blinks. Don't want to blink everything at once. And with that, Nicoract, he does punish. So nice trades here for Nicoract. He does trade well against the Stalkers. Doesn't do critical economic damage, but cleans up so many Stalkers regardless. And again, Krystianer, he had some miscontrol. Oh, even here, he blinks in? Oh, good. He will clean this up. He'll lose all 3 Stalkers. That was 16 Stalkers going down. A brutal loss there for Krystianer. Brutal trade, I should say. Behind this is getting a 3rd base. Meanwhile, so is Nicoract. Now, as it all settles, where exactly are we here? If Krystianer had stuck around, killed some SCVs first, and then recalled, I would favor Krystianer's position. Currently, though, Nicoract, he's looking fine economically. Because Krystianer had no 3rd. these Stalkers, they need to find some damage here. Otherwise, Nicoract is in a better position. Speaking of, Prism is the main. Stalkers, they do get a Marine. Likewise, Krystianer heal supply block the pylon just now finished. So a bit of a stifled warp in. Stalkers, they do find some SCV, so okay. It's 3, 4, 5 SCV kills, not bad. SCVs. Same time to have a backstab towards left hand side, trying to come in for a surround. And Krystianer, it looks like he may be able to barely clean this up. Yeah, down to 3 Marauders, down to 2, down to 1. Oh, and will not get away. Krystianer, he outtrades. Every sim is hurting as well. We can juggle with the Prism, and Krystianer, he's going to overwhelm. There's no safety bunker. Again, there's no tanks behind this. Picking off all the Marauders. GG gets called, and Krystianer, he will break through. He will take game number 1. GG. Whew. GG, well played. There was a lot of pressure on Krystianer to find some damage there. Again, after the stim timing, after the early back and forth, I was favoring Nicoract, who was in a better economic position, but Krystianer, he didn't back off. Thankfully, he didn't back off. He still kept applying pressure. He was very much so in the face of Nicoract, and with that, he was able to outtrade. He was able to pull Nicoract apart, dropping into the main base, pushing into the natural, getting SCV kills. The bunker was never rebuilt. Without the bunker, there was no kind of backbone to that position at the natural base, and you saw that Krystianer just kind of had his way with those Marines, with those Marauders. GG, well played. So Nicoract, unfortunately, he didn't quite respect the power of said Blink Stalkers after the initial aggression. Wasn't quite ready to defend. GG, well played. With that, we're getting into game 2. Going to be loading into Persephone, as Krystianer does take a lead in the series, and we'll see if he can claim it here and now. Let's go. Let us go. And spawning in the top left-hand corner of Persephone, we have the red Terran player. We have the red Terran player himself down in the series. We'll see if he can bounce back. We'll see if he can force the ace match. For the Platinum Heroes, it is Nicoract. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the blue Protoss player, the blue Protoss representing Offside Esports. It is Krystianer. Can't think also the recalling allowed him to trade well enough. I would disagree. I would say that after that trade, Nicoract as we mentioned, was in a better position. He had killed 16 Stalkers. He killed 16 Stalkers for 16 Marines. Like, that was crazy just how well Nicoract was trading against the Stalker army. And as we were emphasizing, Krystianer did have some miscontrol with his Stalkers. He did blink a little bit too carelessly. Because he was blinking a little bit too carelessly, that meant that he was losing more Stalkers than he should have. Referring to that defense after the stim, or at defense of the stim timing, I should say. If you recall, both players got their third bases at the same time, and Nicoract, he was down by 6 SCVs compared to the amount of probes that Krystianer had. It was 44 SCVs to 50 probes, not accounting for mules. Yes, the attack had concussed the game, might just end there. Sure, but that's not what we're arguing, right? Saying that Nicoract was in a better position, and that the pressure was on Krystianer to do more damage in the aftermath of that to make up for his deficits, and he was able to. He was able to pull apart Nicoract's attention, and as we were emphasizing, Nicoract, he never did rebuild his bunker on said low ground at the natural, so he had some brutal trades and brutal losses. And with that, now we're getting into our next game. Hello. As Nicoract does move out across the map, this time going double gas. Double gas opener out of Nicoract into a faster factory, into a delayed CC. With this SCV though, it's looking like a proxy starport. Okay, it's been a while since we've seen a Hellion drop, but we're leaning towards that here. As we're waiting for the factory, factory is done, and we are setting up for that starport. There's the add-on swap here for reactored Hellions. Starport is on the way. So this is a bit of a cheeky build. This is also quite risky here. If this gets scouted, then Krystianer can shut this down. At the same time, Krystianer being cheeky himself. Twilight Council back at home. Are we going for a proxy pylon? If we were, it'd already be on the way though. Yeah, no proxy. No proxy. Just a blink base opener out of Krystianer. Hellions are rallying. This should be one of two options here. This should be either a Hellion drop, or you can actually go for a Reaper Hellion Harass on the right and then go for a Proxy Liberator instead. That's also something that's viable here. But it is going to be the drop. Now, bearing in mind, it is 3 Hellions. 3 Hellions do one-shot probes. So that's all we're going to need. Of course, it's going to be a pair of 4. But they can annihilate these mineral lines, even with shield batteries being in position. So far, Krystianer, he hasn't seen much across the map. Ooh, Nicoract has to be careful. He has to be careful not to lose anything too soon. Pokes in, pulls away. Rotating over towards said medevac. And Krystianer, he has 3 Stalkers. Is he setting up for a third? Okay. Okay, third gateway now being thrown down. Hellions, they bust into the main. They head for the mineral line, and probes are getting one-shots. Yeah, so far getting 7 probes. Oh, God. Yeah, brutal volley goes off. 7 probes go down, and only 1 Hellion falls. A very nice start here for Nicoract. And we spoke earlier about going into Proxy Liberator. Would you have that Liberator follow-up? So Liberator's on the way. There's still 3 Hellions attacking on the map. They're still active, and they can still threaten the natural. Oh, true. We can just heal up. Does heal up at the pad. Krystianer's had a rough start. And ideally, Nicoract, he does want to distract with his Hellions while his Liberator gets into the main. Liberator is coming. Hellions, they poke in. Liberator is activated. And Krystianer, he does react. Does react in time. He does pull away. Still lose 1 probe. But the Hellions are deflected. Losing 2 Hellions in the process. So better defense here by Krystianer. He does defend both locations, and he does deflect the Liberator. Whew, okay. Now, as we said, Lynn, Krystianer, he still has some probing to do to recover. His third base will help, don't get me wrong. Third base will help once it gets up and running. Until then, back at home, we have a 3-1-1 setup, and we'll keep an eye on Nicoract here. We'll see if he does build up into a 3rd CC, or if he throws down 2 more Raxes. So we'll see how hard Nicoract does commit. Building up those tanks. Liberator into the main. And Nicoract, he's at least secure at his natural. No tanks in the main. Bear that in mind. The main base is a little more exposed. Krystianer, he defends. There is no high ground vision, so Krystianer, he has no way into the main. And Nicoract, he's banking up some resources. Are we going for the 3rd CC? We are. Okay, we have the answer. He's expanding. No 2 base all in. He is going to expand. He's building up in towards the mid game. And the game is going to slow down. Slowing down from here. This means that we can start working towards splash damage. We have the Temple Archives in towards Storm. Not going Colossus. Triple drop towards the left. Well spotted by the Observer. Krystianer, he does rotate over. He will barely miss the drop. Yeah, it does miss it. Ay. Warping in back at home. And Nicoract, thankfully, oh, he actually keeps going. Okay, he commits. Commits into main. We'll lose one of the medevacs. Does unload. Remember, there's a splash damage. There's a recall back home. And Nicoract, he will be able to kite back, but yeah, he's running out of steam. Running out of steam, bleeding out far too much. Oh my god, Medevac barely gets away. Just barely. Barely pulls out. But what does this achieve? Oh, as Krystianer's a little bit opportunistic here. Wants that Medevac. But this does force Krystianer to recall, right? Because of the recall, now Nicoract can expand. He can expand freely as he forced back the main army. His third base is getting up. Krystianer, sorry, Nicoract, he does have quite a bit to work with here. Where's Storm? Storm was never researched here. Uh-oh, okay. So Storm is going to be a it's not going to be applicable here. Morphing into Archons. The Zealots are amassing. Nice run by. Does catch some reinforcements. As Zealots, they do pick up a couple of SCVs. No major damage, but he does force Nicoract all the way back home. And this is allowing Krystianer to buy some time to warp in more Archons, to warp in more Mortals. And my assumption was that the splash damage of choice was going to be Storm. That is not correct. We're going into triple robot production. Oh my god. Okay. So triple robot production into mass Colossus. Krystianer. Now, the downside of this is that there's a big window in time here where there is no splash damage, right? There's no Storm, there's no Colossus, there's no Disruptors, there's none of that for an extended period of time here until the Bay gets up and running. So we'll see if Nicoract can make use of that time. Ooh, as the Prism gets in. Prism into the main. So let's get a couple of SCVs. Not bad. Once again, just buying time. Time to force friendly fire. 8 SCVs, not bad. Getting 8 SCV kills. Krystianer, he's taking his 4th base behind this. Bearing in mind that Nicoract still has that army supply lead. The Ghosts have arrived, a couple of Vikings. We're still making that first wave of Colossus. They're coming. Making 3 Colossus at a time. Krystianer's up to 1, soon to be 2. He's almost there. And the Viking count just isn't high enough. Only 2 Vikings. EMPs, they do connect. Mainly on Zealots. First Colossus may go down, but the second Colossus has arrived in time. A brutal damage, and Krystianer, he will shut this down. Sends back the army. Getting on top of the Ghost as well. Brutal losses there for Nicoract. And Krystianer holds. Krystianer, he holds. He cleans this up completely. As you mentioned, there was a window in time where he was vulnerable before the Colossi, but they've arrived. The Colossi have arrived. Again, the Viking count is just too low. And Krystianer, he may just snowball out of control with this push. He's getting a 5th base. Rotating towards the natural. There are only 4 Vikings. And we're getting up to 5 Colossus. That's right, getting up to 4. Nice EMP. EMP goes off. 1 Colossus goes down. He gets 1. And we need reinforcements here. Krystianer overextending. Fighting with only a portion of his army. At the same time, Zealots, they do hit the middle line, but there's nothing to kill. There's nothing there. Oof. And Krystianer, he will lose everything. The Colossus, the Immortal, the Archons. Ay. The Zealot run by was not worth it. Gets only 4 SCVs. Again, Krystianer, he just didn't have his War Prism with his army. He couldn't reinforce his main army either. That was a big blunder from Krystianer. But the reality is that if Nicoract doesn't attack soon, then it won't matter. Krystianer, he's getting a 5th. He's getting a 5th base. He's on 80 probes. Krystianer, because of his boosted economy, he will be able to remax faster. And again, he can make 3 Colossus at a time or 3 Robo units at a time. So Krystianer is building back up. Nicoract, he's now up to 8 Vikings. That's a decent Viking count this time. As he moves out, another Zealot run by. Krystianer, he will get on top of the 5th base. Sorry, Nicoract will get on top of the 5th base. Krystianer super far behind. Nice snap with the Prism. Very nice. Prism goes down. Brutally MP here on the Archons, but there's just not enough bio. Not enough on the ground. So long rise they continue, but this time Nicoract is in position. Sim is ready. Ooh, catching, I guess, the 2nd Prism. Another Prism goes down. Not like this. Krystianer, he is about to max. Getting caught out of position. He will lose 1 Colossus. And Colossus is going to be falling. Vikings just go to town on the Colossi. But what about the ground army? What about the bio? He reset the Colossus count, but the Zealots, the Archons, they do break through. Oh no, not the Prism again. Okay. As we are switching into Disruptors. Disruptors are amassing. Going back into Colossus. Ooh, nice dodge. He lands, he lifts. Avoids a Nova. Another Nova will barely not connect. And Nova's not connecting. There's 1 Nova left. Nova goes off and does break through the army. And with that, there's just too much on the ground. The Gateway army will overwhelm GG. And Krystianer, he will break Nicoract and he will take the series 2-0. GG. Whew. GG, well played, Krystianer. He will claim the series here. Again, Nicoract, he had a nice start killing all those probes at the start of the game, and we spoke about it. There was even a window in time where Nicoract had the greater army supply up until the triple robo kicked in, right? Up until that point, like Nicoract, he did have a window of opportunity, but he wasn't aware, right? He wasn't aware of that. He wasn't as active. He wasn't as aggressive. He was only going for drop play. He was not going for main pushes. Afterwards, we did see a pretty nice moment where he was able to take a stronger fight in the center of the map, but by then, it took a little bit too long. Once again, to counterattack, we did bring up the fact that Krystianer had an untouched economy, 80 probes, 5 bases. He was able to rebuild, remax. Yes, Nicoract killed the 5th, but again, for the most part, the economy was untouched for Krystianer. GG. GG, well played, and towards the mid game, I should say. And with that, GG, well played. With that, Krystianer, he will claim the series, and let's catch up. Let's catch up on the bracket. Let's figure out where we are and where we are headed. Krystianer, he's going to advance on to the semifinals. My condolences to Nicoract as he is knocked out of the tournament. And Krystianer is going to be facing off against the winner of Hero and Geralt. Meanwhile, I believe Bjorn and Percival, they are currently mid-series. Their mid-series are currently facing off as we speak. They are facing off. Let's head on over to the Korean server and figure out what exactly is going on. Yes, we are going to be heading over here. So Krystianer, he does advance on. Meanwhile, again, Bjorn and Percival, they're currently mid-series. And the next set of matches will soon be able to begin. Oh boy. But yeah, I had assumed that both Indy and TKL will be covering Wardy's October tournament, and they are. They're going to be focusing and fixating on that, and maybe RSL afterwards. So, I believe we're going to be the only stream this month. The only stream. But Bjorn and Percival looks like they're just now getting out of their games. They just swapped out a game. Let's go. So, and we have the update. Okay, so we just got an update here. Bjorn takes down Percival 2-0, and Bjorn also does advance on to the semifinals. So we have our first 2 matches wrapping up. Bjorn takes down Percival, Krystianer takes down Nicoract. Now we're getting ready for the next set of matches here. Creator versus Bunny and Hero versus Geralt. We're going to be going on a short break. When we come back, we will have Creator versus Bunny coming at you next in a couple of minutes. See you soon. See you soon.